Good evening and welcome to the Select Board meeting of Tuesday, February 25th. It's 5 p.m. We have no appointments tonight, so we'll move into our first agenda item, which is the annual town meeting, coming up quickly. We will be looking to call the meeting for May 3rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. Open warrant and set a closing date. I'll make a motion to move to call the annual town meeting to be held in accordance with the town bylaws on May 3rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. at the Mohawk Trail Regional School Auditorium. The warrant will close March 21st, 2025. Proposed warrant articles that amend the town's general zoning bylaws should be presented as soon as possible to allow for review by town council and the planning board as required by Mass General Law, Chapter 48.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? No. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
I love town meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Here, you hear what I said? I said I love town meeting.
You what?
I love town meeting.
Oh, do you? Oh.
I don't know. Is that a little facetious, or is she really
I
meant?
think so.
No, I really did. I used to cover them, like,
Oh, okay.
many towns, and
Well,
they're just so entertaining.
It's the big event of the year.
Yeah.
it is.
Yep. Whole lot of hoopla.
Yeah.
I'm sure Heather's got plenty of it planned for this year.
It'll be an interesting warrant.
Yeah. Yes, it will.
Just a reminder that it is very helpful if you're a committee that's looking at bylaw changes of any kind, that we get those in as soon as possible so that town council can review them. And if it's a zoning bylaw, then we would have to have the planning board schedule a public hearing in accordance with 48. So we just really want to make sure that if there's any bylaw
Yeah.
proposals out there, please check in with the town administrator ASAP.
Was, I don't think zoning wasn't really working on anything for this year, were they?
They were looking at maybe some ADU, some amendments to our accessory dwelling unit bylaws in accordance to make them conform to the new state laws.
Gotcha.
So that might be.
All right, our next agenda item is the fiscal year 26 budget update, and looks like we're looking to set COLAs.
Well, we don't have to. You don't have to set it tonight. I just want to get your sense as to which end of the spectrum. The finance committee met last night. They met on Saturday. They've got several more meetings, and it would be useful if there's a sense that you could give to them as to where you might be leaning. So just as a quick update, we've been working through the budget process. All of the departments, the immediate Buckland departments have submitted their budget requests, and we have those. We have the majority of the assessments. As you know, Buckland and many of our other neighboring towns, we share a lot of services, and therefore we receive assessments for those services rather than have town department budgets. And so we've worked those in, and right now we're modeling our budgets at a 2.5% COLA, a 2% plus 50 cent, a 3.5, and a 3 plus 50 cent. Staff prefers the progressive option, that you have a single percent or a round number percent and then add the 50 cents rather than the half percent.
Okay.
It tends to benefit those who are lower on the pay scale more, and brings them up more quickly than the people that are at the higher end of the pay scale.
Yep.
For the people at home, who would that include?
Well, it would include generally the staff that is either working in assistant positions. So the assistant, for example, the assistant assessor, our transfer station attendants, some of our highway laborers, some of our wastewater laborers, those that are not in department head roles, for the most part.
Okay.
Too early to ask, but I'm gonna ask. What are all of those numbers, fit into our budget? Or is any one of them gonna
There
push
are-
it out of limits that make it tough for us?
No, right now, as of this moment, they all fit within.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will offer that one department head brought forward last night to the finance committee a request for a salary adjustment. So that would be different than a COLA. They feel that their hourly wage should be reviewed. And as a result of that conversation, I know that there'll be several other employees that would like to also have that opportunity. As you know, this board serves as the higher fire board, so therefore the actual salary would come under your jurisdiction. So I've asked them to put together their sort of their request presentation, and we'll bring that to you at your March 11th meeting. So that'll be different than a COLA.
Okay.
And we'll have to see, Larry, that will be the big question.
Then after,
Is-
yes.
Is whether after we apply the COLA, finish looking at police services and Franklin Tech, which is the two assessments that we don't have in hand right now.
Yeah.
Then we'll have to see what kind of situation they're in.
Because, I mean, you were going from 2.5 to, 3 plus 50. I would like a little more guidance into what we can absorb when the time comes, what's more realistic.
So
yeah.
everything that we've modeled for you so far still keeps us in the
Yeah.
black.
Good.
And will the department heads come in to make their pitch? Or just the person who
I
wants
guess that would be up to the board, how you wanna handle it.
I mean, usually not, just because that's why we all sit down with each department head.
Yep.
We all kind of sit with our respective groups. That way there, if there's any questions, then whoever the liaison for that was, should be able to speak on that. And then if there's more, then we can certainly have that department head come in.
Well, what I think I'll do is I'll get the information to all of you, and you can either follow up with that individual, as you stop by town hall. And I will say that a lot of this is coming from, we've looked at our assessments, and we've tried to pull the strings out of where the salaries are in those assessments, and I think staff is realizing, and that, and correctly so, that within those assessments there are embedded salary increases for
Yeah.
that particular organization's staff, and they certainly, in most cases, exceed what we have traditionally given the Buckland
Yeah.
staff, and I think that's where they're coming from, is they understand that you can't give, some of these salary adjustments are 4, 5, 7%, and then we obviously don't have a lot of options to not fund those assessments, and therefore we're also agreeing to those salary adjustments, and then meanwhile our staff is not seeing those same benefits, and I think that,
I heard that when I was talking to the staff here.
Yeah.
And they work hard. They put in more hours than what, they, begrudgingly, they just do it. And so we do have to think about that very carefully, take care of our own first. Yeah.
I think it does feel to them like they get to divide up whatever's left over.
Yeah, that was sort of said,
Yes,
yes.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
I certainly support
Sure.
both the staff, but I'm also,
Yeah.
ultimately responsible for making sure that we have a balanced budget. So, so we'll continue this conversation, but if you haven't had a chance to look at those,
Yeah.
budgets that I have there, in those, in the agenda, please do. And I guess if you have a sense as to whether you prefer the, 2.5, 3.5 model, or the, 2 and 50 cent, or 3 and 50 cent, or if there's another, combination that you'd like me to model.
Do we have any numbers on average what the insurance cost is gonna be going up? I know we're looking at a 20% increase
Yeah,
for
if it's an,
PPOs.
yeah, if it's an HMO, insurance is going up, their insurance is gonna be 18.
18.
And if it's a PPO, of which we have 3, those are going up to
Yeah.
20%.
So
And
I
2 of
guess,
those are retirement.
right, I guess one of my questions is, like if we went with the 3% plus 50, are they still gonna be looking at the reduction in their paychecks?
Right.
Because of how much the insurance is going up? I mean, I know we
It'll probably-
cover a pretty hefty chunk of the insurance already anyway, so, you know. But I'd hate for the insurance rocketing up through like that and us, you know, and
It'll
having
be a
our
wash.
employees
I mean,
making
it-
less after.
Yeah. There's a good, but I don't know how we control that.
Right.
No.
Well, no, but I mean, I'm just wondering, you know, how close is this with the 3% plus 50?
Okay.
If we were to go with that, how close is that gonna put us
To at least a wash.
Yeah.
Right.
Really, yeah.
So I can have, I'll ask Kara to look into
Yeah,
that a
yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit more closely.
Yeah, I don't know if she brought it up, I might have missed it at the finance committee meeting last night.
No, I think we're all still staggering from the 18 and 20% increase.
Yeah,
And as we talked about at the finance committee meeting, that's a result. We use the Hampshire County Insurance Trust, and they have not increased their rates in probably 3 or 4 years. They've used their reserves to keep costs
But the
low.
even the fires in California, it was said clearly many times that the insurance affecting them will affect insurances throughout the whole country because they're all interrelated, and everyone will, unfortunately, have to take it.
yeah.
Yeah,
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
insurance companies don't like to lose money. So.
that's exactly
They
it.
certainly don't like to give it away.
No,
so.
they don't.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so we'll get a little bit more of a cost analysis of the health insurance increases versus the
That's a good
COLAs.
idea.
And
Yeah.
Think of that, yeah.
so what I'm hearing is you'd like to see me bring back a budget that represents an actual increase to employees.
I mean, you know, if not at least getting us close.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're already behind the 8 ball with a lot of our employees, as, you know, all of us have sat with our, as the liaisons, and that's kind of the going factor with
Yeah.
the employees that we have. And I would really like to keep them all around, because we have a very good team
I
right now.
agree 100%.
So-
Yeah, and I'd agree that some numbers to be
You know,
nice.
the last thing I wanna see is them, you know, coming home, you know, $1,000 less every year because of, you know, the insurance.
I'd also like to keep everybody around.
Right,
Mhm.
so,
It's a great team.
yeah, so I think
Okay.
if we
All right.
looked at
Yep.
that, I think before, I'd like to see those numbers before I made a decision on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Anything else on that?
No, I'm,
Nothing we needed to vote on for that, right, Heather?
yeah.
Next, we have the election registrar appointment. We have Nancy Parland of 19 Dodge Road. This was a town clerk recommendation. I would make a motion to accept the town clerk's recommendation to appoint Nancy Parland as registrar for a term beginning April 1st in the last 3 years. Mass General Law prescribes that registrars to serve from April 1st to March 31st, which is different than our traditional appointments that occur in May.
I second that.
Okay. Any further? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a comp time request from the Highway Department. We have an employee that will be unable to work for a period of time, up to 3 months as a result of a medical procedure. That employee is a non-exempt status and is paid overtime at time and a half, in accordance with the Fair Labor Standards Act. The FLSA provides an opportunity for a non-exempt employee to accept comp time in lieu of overtime under specific conditions and with a limitation as to how much time can be accrued. The town's personnel policy does not have a provision for comp time for any employee, exempt or non-exempt, but it would be within the purview of the select board to make a case-by-case determination if they desired to do so. We could also consider adding a provision of the personnel policy when we review the document for the next fiscal year. So if we're so inclined to allow this employee to accrue comp time rather than take overtime pay, we would need to determine an accrual rate and set an accumulation limit. Do we
How
need
do
more?
we do that?
Well,
Does he get any, or he, get in most of it's he, let's obviously say, anything at all if they are out for a medical thing?
they would be able to use their accrued sick time.
That's what, all they have?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm asking, yeah.
And how much time is that?
I don't know what this individual
Okay.
has.
Yeah, it's individual, must
Yeah.
vary from,
Varies by health.
So, if you were interested in allowing this individual situation, I would recommend a accrual at the same rate as the overtime, so time and a half.
Mhm.
And I would look to cap it at no more than 4 weeks, or 20 days.
So this would just be kind of a case-by-case basis. I mean, do we know when he's looking at going out?
March, or the end of March.
So.
There
even
isn't
in-
a lot of time.
Yeah,
to-
he's
for
not gonna accrue
no, he's not gonna
that much
accrue
anyway.
much time.
Well, let's hope.
Yeah,
Let's hope.
yeah, well,
I-
that's true
yeah,
too.
We've accrued enough.
Weather-wise.
Yeah,
So there is not a whole lot of time. However, this was a request that was brought into me, and I had actually suggested that rather than paying out the overtime for this last pay period,
Yeah.
that they wait. But they wanted, they opted to take the overtime from this past week. So this would start effective this pay period, if that
Mhm.
was something that you were interested in.
I think that's all we can do. We can't do any more, you know what I'm saying, because
Yeah.
it-
And if we capped it at, say, the 20, I guess 8 times 20 is whatever that is.
160.
However many hours that.
160.
160, thank you. If we capped it at the 160 hours, and then if that proved to be something that they wanted to bring back, if there was that opportunity to accrue that much for one thing, and then if they wanted to exceed that, they could come back with another
Yeah.
request.
It's a good idea, yeah.
Plus they can use sick time, right?
Yes, yep, they can use their vacation, they can use their.
Vacation,
And,
sick time, okay.
and we do have a very,
And then
I
they
mean,
would go.
as most municipalities, we have a pretty liberal vacation and sick time policy.
Okay.
And I'm sure, like everything else, nobody expected it. Well, I'm gonna be taking the time off for a medical emergency. Said that back in September? No.
No.
Yeah, so, well,
No.
I think
Yeah.
anything you can do, Heather, would be good, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we're only talking this one employee, this, for this specific thing.
I think it'll give us an idea of how we'll go, I hate to say it that way, but like a test subject, we can see how this
Absolutely.
comes out to go if we want
And
to.
I think that the majority of the non-exempt employees prefer the overtime. You know, that's,
Oh,
you
sure.
know, so this is, I don't think you'll be seeing a rush on a request for comp time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you would, you really wouldn't, like winter time, which is our biggest chance for if someone was not feeling great and knew that they had something coming up, okay, I'm scheduling an operation for blah, blah, March, they might consider it themselves. Yeah. So it's nice that we can offer it at least, so. Good, well, thank you.
So I would, make a motion to, approve the accrual of comp time for this one employee,
Yeah.
for this one instance.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Bearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Hopefully he has a speedy recovery.
Yeah, really, that's the important part.
That's it for agenda items. We'll move on. We've got our documents to sign. We have a change order from W.R. Hillman for the Avery Road culvert reconstruction. I would make a motion to approve the change order in the amount of $1,524.80 to the contract we have with Hillman. The change order is for additional material used on site and increases the total contract from $36,550 to $38,074.80.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Heather, is that coming out of the
CDBG portion.
CDBG? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
No permits and licenses. Minutes, Mary is back, and she's better than ever, and we have all of our minutes now.
You don't have January 28th.
Well, we're getting there.
Okay, well, I just want you to know not to include that. in
So we have the 14th. Did we have February 11th?
Yeah, they
Okay.
should be
All
there.
right,
Yes, it's
yeah.
2:30.
I was thinking those were the 28th and not the 11th. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the January 14th minutes, the January 14th executive session minutes, and the February 11th minutes as written.
Me? I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have the vendor and payroll warrants. I'll make a motion to approve both vendor and payroll warrant 25-19.
Second that.
Further? All in favor?
Aye.
Items not reasonably anticipated by chair. I don't have anything. Select board member concerns?
Nope.
No, but I'd like to say, I thought the highway crew did a great job and a very challenging state
Yeah,
we most recently had.
they had their hands full. So, and we went from major storm to mud season.
Yeah, I know it. Kind of a quick one.
breath.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
called spring.
All in under a week.
Yeah.
So, because I noticed I'm starting to get some mud on my road, so the thaw is starting, but I think we're gonna freeze back up though this weekend.
Yeah, we are. But then it's gonna get warm next week
Yeah.
again.
It's supposed to go
It-
50
it's-
trucks one day and then 20
That's,
something. the
that's this
next.
time of year, just like when we had back, when the cold weather was, we got a few days it was warm, we're like, wow.
Yeah.
We'll have that for March and then
Yep.
who knows what April.
Welcome to New England.
Yeah,
And like a lion, as they say.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
All right, any others? Okay, town administrator's report.
Well, I'd like to go back to the comp time question. I just was messaging with Anthony to let him know that you would approve that. And he wants to know if that is for the whole department, or is it just for one individual?
One individual.
Yeah.
One individual.
So this was a
This is our
by
case study, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a case-by-case basis, so.
I mean, it's something we will look at again. I think it's like you said, do they want time and a half, or do they want to use it as comp time? Well,
Right.
let's see, well, that could be devastating if everybody left at once for comp time, so we'll have to think about it after we hear this.
Yeah. So my town administrative report is brief. A couple of meetings ago, I believe your January 14th meeting, Jessica Atwood from FERCog was present. She was reviewing the downtown rural district pilot program with you, and had requested that the town appropriate $4,000 to extend that pilot program from a 12-month to an 18-month, with a request of $4,000. I've been working with Terry and Shelburne, because they obviously would have received the same request. The suggestion that the village area is really one, in this case, one unit, and so that one sum of money, not 8,000, could be offered. And we've been going back and forth with whether both towns offer 2,000 to make the 4,000, 2,500 each to make 5,000. My source of funds for this would be the grant match account that the town has graciously provided and set up so that it would not impact the bottom line of either budget. It's money that's already appropriated. We could, so I guess the question is whether or not you support giving that pilot program any money. And again, if you would rather, if you want to give the face value request, which is 4,000, or somewhere between 2 and 4.
Do we know where the town of Shelburne is leaning on this?
They're currently proposing $2,000 from each community, for a total of $4,000 from the village.
Which kind of makes sense. I mean, that's for really everything for just the downtown area, so.
Right.
Our downtown area is pretty full at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would be okay with matching the town of Shelburne at the 2,000.
Okay, great.
Do you guys have any,
Oh, I'd go along with that.
do we have that in that account to be able to?
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Do you need us to vote on that?
Yes, please.
All right, I would make a motion to match funds with Shelburne for the rural downtown coordinator pilot, for funds up to $2,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then the only other item is the MMA is looking for some participation, letters of support, or calling our local legislators regarding remote meetings. Remote meetings are set to expire March 31st unless the legislators act differently and vote to either extend it or make it permanent. I know that this board enjoys the in-person meeting experience, but there are other committees for the town of Buckland that continue to meet remotely. I don't know if on their behalf we want to extend our support to the Mass Municipal Association's advocacy.
Well, does that include when we have a meeting and we have someone Zoom in with that?
No, that you would be able to continue to do that. This is when a meeting is entirely
Fully
remote.
remote. I mean, I personally, I think it's a good idea. You know, we get a night where there's bad weather or something like that, and we have important things on our agenda, then, you know, that kind of gives us that option. But, and I know, like, we're, you know, there are other boards that are still utilizing it, so. I would be okay with sending a letter of support
Okay.
to continue it. I mean, it doesn't mean we have to.
Right.
But I think, you know, for the overall, everything's kind of steering that way these days anyway, so.
I
Do you
agree.
guys have any thoughts?
Nope.
I like that we meet in person.
Yeah, oh, I love meeting in person. I would.
But
no, I
there have
love
been
that.
times when, well, you were in Europe and you could be part of the meeting.
And I was
you know?
still here.
You were still
Yes, you were,
here.
eating,
And,
well,
you know, or are you on your way back from work or something?
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
it's-
in your truck how many
otherwise
times?
You wouldn't be here.
Right.
at all.
Yeah,
So,
that's right, that really makes me,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Well, there you go.
Okay,
Do
so
we
I will-
need,
No, I'll just put together a, letter for you all to come in and sign.
okay.
Is there anything, any questions about any projects? Are pretty quiet right now, we're
Yeah,
just in
no.
survival mode.
Pretty nice,
Yeah, it is pretty nice.
pretty nice, yeah, it is. Yeah, if we go back for select board, I didn't say anything, but I'm gonna now, if it's okay.
sure.
Thank you.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, well, I had to ask, you went through it. Just one of our citizens, yes, it's my daughter-in-law, Megan, but Abishon's got broken into about eight days ago or something. And Steve, my son's the manager, and he got pictures of the person in his vehicle. He had a mask on and everything. And Chief Bardwell and all of them were really looking around like crazy, in the state police and everything. And Megan took a picture of the car that he got in the camera, and she put it into, I don't know how she did it with her camera, or onto her camera, into the computer, put it in, and it came up with who it belonged to, and the guy is wanted, and he was coming out of, they were chasing him from Vermont somewhere, and he was, said Stephen had just left 20 minutes before. Usually he's there later, and locked the door and smashed him with a hammer. They said, "You're lucky because he's armed and dangerous and crazy." So shout out to Megan. That Greg Bardwell, he says, the Chief Bardwell said, "How'd you do that?" And I we thought maybe give her a job, but he figured he can give her a junior detective badge. But I wanted to shout out to it. That was one of our citizens.
That's fantastic.
It is, and I was good when the citizens do something like that.
Public comment? Mary, anything tonight?
No,
No?
You're speechless?
I am.
I'm gonna give it a shout out.
Oh,
to
Dana.
a
Think
new,
Dana's-
recording system.
I think Dana's got something. Dana's coming in hot.
I am impelled to speak tonight to share some of my thoughts with the community. I'm
Excuse me,
Dana
Dana.
McNay. I live at
Okay,
18
good.
South Street, Buckland. I've lived there since 1995. Prior to that, I lived in Asheville for 10 years. I'm looking at a dystopian political horror show happening in this country. Donald Trump's malignant narcissism has metastasized into full-blown social pathology. Okay, the cruelty, the nastiness, both domestically and internationally. I'm a veteran, okay, and I can't believe what is happening. Okay, it's. You know, listening this morning, I mean, I could go through, I could get into a rant and go for 2.5 hours. This morning,
let's
though,
not do that.
This morning, I listened to, you know, news out of Boston, okay, the, Trump's border thug, okay, basically called out the Department of Education person in Boston and said, you know, because it's a sanctuary city, I guess. I can't, you know, he said, you're gonna lose your job, man. You know, you want a state, okay? He says, I'm coming, I'm quoting now to him, I'm coming to Boston, okay, and I'm bringing holy hell with me. The other day, there was a meeting of the 50 governors, okay, of, you know, the country. And Trump, you know, looked at one of them, okay, Maine, okay, and Maine is a sanctuary city. I ran the Amherst shelter for 20 years of my life, okay? My wife, by the way, was a school nurse for 20 years in the Buckland shelter system, or the Buckland system here. What is happening is so totally beyond belief. Anyway, the main thing, basically, he looks at her and says, "Hey, you know, you won't have a state, okay? And I guarantee you, if you don't comply," she said, he asked her, will you comply? She said, "I will comply with," this is Governor May, "I will comply with the law, okay, and the state law." And he says, "You don't get it." I'm quoting him now. "We are the law. I am the law. You will comply, or you won't have a state, or you won't have any, you know, political career left." What he's saying also about, you know, everybody in the world, okay, all these countries got nuclear weapons now. I had a top secret security clearance when I was in the military. I have followed this, okay, I was drafted actually in the military in the Vietnam War. This I'm not a pacifist, okay, and, you know, there's this old saying, okay, whatever, you know, all politics, all life is politics, all politics are local. You know, think globally, act locally. Well, you know, my veterans benefits, I have a bunch of, you know, appointments set up. They've all been canceled, okay, because of these people, okay, these knocking up, all the civilization that we have built underneath us through the years, he's dismantling. And I don't know what to do. You know, I've been calling up, okay, the three times a week. I'm calling up both of our senators and the congressmen. My wife's, okay, medication is doubled in price, okay, because of this thing that Biden had said. It was a senior citizen cap on whatever else, okay? She had problems even getting her med today because of the stuff, the slowdown a couple of weeks ago, whatever. So she has an inoperable back condition where she has to take narcotic medication. You can only get them, you know, and I give you like 30 days at a time, whatever. She's 75 years old. She has to go take drug tests. You know. Anyway, what just happened because of the screwiness, the system getting weird, okay, she could not get her meds, okay? If by tomorrow she can't get them, I'm going to be bringing my wife to the emergency room so she can go through withdrawal. You know, I mean, this, what is happening, and it's internationally. I mean, Putin and China and us, that's what it seems like what's going down now. Our friends, everybody's got nukes. We have global warming. Just wait till next summer, what we're all gonna see. We're abrogating all, there is the bird flu, COVID. I've had COVID twice, okay? I've asked the VA, if I get it again, okay, how do I get the medication? They don't know, whatever. You know, this is, I'm ashamed of my country. I'm almost ashamed of being a human being about this point. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Announcements and upcoming. Our next meeting is
March 11th.
March 11th.
March 11th. When is the,
Time flies.
don't we have a, sewer commission.
to me.
Yes,
to run it.
sewer commissioners
And
are
also
tomorrow night.
on March 4th, we'll be having our Purple Heart
Oh, yeah.
recognition here at the town hall. We'll read the proclamation.
Your dad should be there, right? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, good, good.
Who do you think initiated all of this?
Probably Caroline. No,
But
no,
we'll-
no.
we'll,
Good,
read-
it's good.
We will read the Purple Heart proclamation, and hopefully it's open to the public. We're hoping that veterans will come and support it. For the Purple Heart members of the community
Yeah.
are especially welcome to join us. There will be cake.
It's amazing. Oh, good.
All right,
It's
that's a big
amazing.
draw, that's a big
It's
draw.
amazing. There's always the rock that was on the Bridge of Flowers from previous wars, but even like the Vietnam War, when you go about, I lost friends during that, and from town here and everything else like that, and even cousins and stuff. And so it hits home when it's at home. You know, it's not a movie anymore on TV. So.
Right.
Can you repeat when that's happening?
March 4th. Is it possible to still get that into the, no, we do this to you every time, don't we, Joan? We ask you for miracles for that two-town news.
It's already been done, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
What time?
We said 4 o'clock.
And we can do that here.
Yep.
Right,
Right
okay.
in here.
Okay.
What time did you say?
4 p.m.
4.
Yep. I've reached out to the recorder, so.
That's
hopefully
nice.
something.
Yeah.
And then we said our next select board is March 11th.
March
is it?
11th.
Okay. Is that gonna be 5 still?
Tonight is at the Buckland Shelburne Elementary School
Right,
is
yeah.
the,
Yeah.
Public-
Presentation again.
yeah, the public hearing for
Yeah.
the Mohawk School District presentation.
Busy time.
Yes.
It
yes.
is.
I think that's it.
That starts at 6:30
That's at 6:30.
at Buckland Shelburne
Yeah, yeah.
Elementary.
Yep, and there's no online portion to that, correct? It's
Correct.
all in person. All right.
So you're gonna be here for the sewer commission?
Yeah, that meeting, it will be held in person here as well as on
Yeah,
Zoom.
what date is that?
Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow,
That's tomorrow night.
yeah, tomorrow,
Yep.
6 p.m.
Tomorrow 6, okay. 6. I think I'll come down here.
Yeah, I will. I'll be
Instead of my mother. My mother will be going, what's going on?
All right, nothing else? I'll get the motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Thank you and have a good